Hi guys, I haven't done a video in a while because I've been sick, lost the internet. Anyway, I actually fell asleep yesterday with my daughter instead of making a video. So here I am in the morning. Let's quickly recap because it's been a bit of a surprise upside for me anyway. So we're looking at the SPY. We did come down, retrace sort of back to breakout zone, right? 390 on the SPY. I thought we'd keep coming down here. We went sideways and actually we went up yesterday, so and closed pretty much high of day at the resistance. Now today is Thanksgiving. I think the market closes early today, but at least it's open. Yesterday the volume was very light. Today I expect the same, so it kind of doesn't count. We'll probably push higher given where we close and how bullish the pattern remains and how close resistance is. So we might just move up a little higher in the SPY. I'm talking about 406, 407. Or is that maybe too much of a move up in one day? It could be done. It could be done. I mean, volume being light is one thing, but volume has generally been pretty heavy because the market's going down. So we could have enough volume to move it up to basically this resistance. Now, this resistance was price is one thing, but time is another factor to consider. And because of time, this resistance now moves here because we are essentially identifying the descending line as resistance. So I would say roughly here-ish. So yeah, 408 maximum. Let's see if we get there, but that's what it looks like. Still in a downtrend, still in a bear market. I don't think anything's changed. I think there are lots of black swans. I am still bearish. Nothing's changed. If we break out of this, then I mean, fundamentally, I'm bearish, but I would have to become a little bullish after a retrace. But anyway, that's what I see on the SPY. Nasdaq very quickly has been underperforming, has not even gotten back to its high of, let's say, 293. The SPY going higher will probably lead to this reaching its own resistance. So for me, next resistance is really here, previous high. So that'll probably equate to the SPY getting to its 408-ish zone, about the same percentage move required. To the downside, well, support will be 280. Imagine we come back down, whether it's today or tomorrow on Monday, this would be resistance. And by then, it'll also probably fall in line with this ascending support. And just by the way, the SPY, in case we do come back down, same thing. Come back down, support will be here because it'll be this zone, but also it'll touch the ascending line. Dow Jones has been the stronger of all the indices, closed at a high, not just above its previous resistance for the last few days, but also the resistance up here. Actually, I haven't touched these resistance, so you can see it's really right on the money. Now that's very impressive to me. That cannot last. It cannot break out of here. I refuse that the Dow Jones just makes this hell of a rally and goes, oh, what are we going to do? Make new highs, test old all-time highs on the Dow. That just doesn't make sense. And it reminds me of this period here. I refuse to accept. I didn't think it would take out this zone and it went higher. Similarly, I didn't think it would take out this zone, this descending line. It did. This is the next resistance. We're there. What are we going to do? Go all the way up here? That would be kind of different if we get up there because then we've taken out several months of resistance. So if I just stick to the 1 hour chart, for me, I refuse. We could have a fake out. I mean, yeah, I could be wrong. It goes higher, closes higher, we rally more, but I just refuse to accept that prospect. This just goes against everything that's going on today, technically, fundamentally, psychologically. I don't know. So I'm going to leave resistance here. I just refuse to put a higher resistance, although I should. Let's say for me, the next zone, maybe this gap, but basically nothing until this area. I just can't believe I'm putting that there. But anyway, let's see. For me, the Dow Jones comes down. It's just too much for me. The Russell, I mean, look at the Russell compared to it's the same as the. Russell being all the way up here, the Russell just within its resistance still. Let's just move this one here. Actually, it hasn't hit that many times, so it's not as credible. But anyway, for me, resistance is old high basically here, 190, let's say 189. So I'll leave that there. Now it's here. If it falls back down, the ascending support is very close. So I'll just say roughly there, support. And then this, if we break out, yeah, it's still there. But let's see, let's see. I think that's the simple resistance. So the VIX, though, look at that, it's just been falling. I mean, it makes sense that it's falling because the markets keep going higher. Didn't expect this, but then again, I didn't expect to move higher, so it's the same thing. Yeah, support is here. Support is here. I need to change these support resistance to the targets, but let's just get rid of this one. Doesn't count too much anymore. Yeah, let's see. If the markets go higher, then I expect VIX to be bought under 20. Basically under 20 in the 19s should be strong support. It should be strong support. And if there was a really crazy move, maybe we get to the 18s, but really this entire zone should be bought, even if the VIX is a broken indicator. Let's move to yields. Yields have been coming, well, some have been coming down. The 1 year is basically flying at the top, sideways at the top, 4.8. So that stays strong. 2 year, just a bit weaker, which is what you'd expect. Still pretty strong. That doesn't take many days. Let's go to the daily. Doesn't take many days for the 2 year to make new highs. That's a 2, 3, 4 day move. So it's just sort of holding. You can see if we make another low here, we've got a head and shoulders pattern. Then we could come back down and test lower levels. So I'm going to leave my targets here. They're totally correct to me. So if we move back down here, yeah, this would be support. But if we flush this straight away down here, and then maybe sideways and probably lower, and by then this target would have moved. But I'm going to leave it here for now. So that's a real head and shoulders pattern, but the right shoulder has not been formed yet. The 5 year, very weak pattern. So we flush this. Yeah, support remains where it is here. And if we lose this, then we go lower. We've lost the ascending, and then it'll be here. And to be honest, we could go much lower on the 5 year. But fundamentally, I don't see why that would change because rates will keep going up. Rates will keep going up. So this could be a good dip buying opportunity if it starts to flush. Let's see. This is a weak chart pattern. If it wasn't yields, I'd be bearish this quite a lot. Put it that way. If it was a stock and the markets weren't particularly strong or weak, 10 year, same thing. Yeah. So support is where it is actually, but you could say all of this zone actually because the support underneath is very close. So I would just sort of say this entire zone is support. And you can see its previous resistance. And if we lose that, then yeah, I'd say the ascending support. So I'm going to leave that where it is. Very interesting. Again, yields are special. So although it's pretty bearish pattern, I can't be as bearish as I normally would be. 30 year, and you can see that's made an even lower move. I don't see much support until this zone. But there's a bit of chop here. So you could say here for now. And we're basically there, a bit like the 10 year. We're basically at support. So again, I expect yields to find some support, just like I expect the markets to get resistance where they are. So for me, the reversal's in place any time when it comes to yields and markets. European yields I will miss for now. I want to make a quick video today. Let's go to the dollar. The dollar index has been and continues today, this morning, to come down. So support, it didn't take out its previous support, but that was a strong bounce at 105, which I identified. I thought we might bounce. We did. We did actually hit immediate resistance, which was support. I haven't moved these in a while. So it's interesting how this really bounced on this one, touched this one, and now we're back down bouncing. I do think 105 will hold for a bit because I think all of the stocks we just looked at, all of the market in the season yields are at support or resistance. So likewise, the dollar is at 105 again. I don't think we'll come back down too much. If we do, if we come lower than 105, maybe a pit stop here. No, I would say this is be your major support at 102. If we start to take out 105, we go to 102. So I'll leave that where it is. Again, I don't expect the dollar to move down too much today. Maybe touch the low 105s, but that's about it. I guess you'd have to look at the other currencies also. Yeah, if the euro pushes up, we could go to 102 actually. Japanese yen. See, it looks the same, doesn't it? The dollar, the yields, support down here. They've all sort of got the same levels of support, sort of distance to the next level of support. So it's all sort of the same thing. Either we sort of hold where we are. If we go to the next level, then so be it. And that applies to all of the markets, the yields, the currencies, etc. So it's all sort of the same levels. Let's go to gold and silver, which has been pretty interesting. So again, we pretty strong, pretty strong. So gold, we went back down, touched previous resistance, acted as support. Let's call it 1720, 1730. That was one level I identified. I was hoping for a further drop, but it doesn't surprise me too much that it bounced already because it's been very strong. So far, very strong. Bounced basically 1720s. Now we're on our way up. We haven't touched previous resistance yet, so it's not like the markets that have already touched that area and gone higher in case of the Dow or stayed where they are just below like the Nasdaq. I don't want to equate gold to the Nasdaq, but anyway, it hasn't reached its prior resistance. So obviously next resistance is previous resistance. Support remains here. We're stuck between this range. I don't think we're going to break out of any of these ranges today because it's a thin traded Thanksgiving Day. So I'll make a more comprehensive video later tonight, hopefully without this mafia voice. I'll leave these support lines in. I don't think we're going to break out. So, but where would the next resistance be? Well, 1860-ish, let's say. I'll draw those later. Silver has been a little stronger. It did find a bit of difficulty finding its strength, and it did come below its prior resistance acting as support, right? So you could say sort of this area would have been resistance, but it went a little lower. That's fine. Silver always overreacts on the way up and on the way down. I'll leave these here. I generally agree. Although if we come down here and take it out, I think we'll go lower than this. But whatever. I'll move this up to act as resistance. Then, yeah, resistance is prior resistance. So that's the range we're stuck in. Silver could maybe touch resistance today, 22. Let's see. Let's see what the currencies, the markets, the yields do. Again, I don't expect much today, so I'll leave these in. But what has been fascinating is if I move to the GDX and GDXJ, they have totally broken out. Let me get rid of this one. So here we touched support, but actually we didn't. We didn't actually touch support. Support would be here. So we broke out of this range. This was resistance, although it didn't really act like resistance, actually. Maybe I got that one wrong. Maybe it was really just up here, which is where we are now. But anyway, we broke out. We broke out of this descending. That was definitely relevant. I mean, look at this breakout here. It just on the day that it opens above that. And then, 2 days later, it's breached above this. So very strong breakout. We came back down and we didn't even touch support. So very strong, and we're already higher than prior resistance. So this is stronger than the underlying metals. I would say it's relatively stronger than the markets, very strong. So this move up in the markets, although I didn't see it coming, I am enjoying it because I'm making good buck on the miners. And I did buy some miners back on this retracement. Very weak though. I bought some on the way down here, but I was looking to buy more there, more there. Basically, I bought back a third of what I sold here. So not ideal, but I always hold a certain value in all my miners, which I'm happy with. So I bought some there. It was a bit more. So it's okay. It could have been more money on the way up here. But let's see. I haven't sold any yet because I know that I've already sold this range, and I actually have trouble identifying the next range of resistance. I don't know if it'll be here where we have a few 3 days of highs here at 31. 31's a nice number. The next one being 33. I don't see 32 as a range. I want to get pretty tactical here and try and machine gun my way out of some of these miners if they become too valuable, and really zoom in on the 1 minute and check out all the charts at the same time and just sort of dump where I think the top will be on a particular day and try and catch a move down. But this is a very bullish pattern. And if we zoom out, we're pretty damn low. And if the market's going to go up, the Dow's going to go up. I don't understand why it will, but this will definitely go up more. So I'm going to make a more detailed video on all the miners actually, because I think you've got to get very zoomed in on these. I mean, I'll look at the dollar, I'll look at the SPY, I'll look at the yields, I'll look at the GDX, GDXJ, and then I'll look at the actual line I'm looking to trade. So I'll look at four charts on my left, the big boy on the right, and I'll try and zoom in and drop the trade. Sell my first machine gun round, let's say. But anyway, for me, GDX very impressive. It closed pretty much high of day, higher than any of these candles. So very bullish. If the market and the metals are green today, I expect more follow through. I don't know where resistance will end up being. I see some resistance, like I said, at 31. Otherwise, you could say 30. It could just be round numbers at this point. So, but nothing obvious until really 33. 33 is a sort of range, maybe just below. So I'll leave that one in. I'll leave these two in, but there could be some resistance here. But at this point, it's just almost anywhere on the way. Support will be prior support because that was good. Next would be probably here, but I don't see it going all the way down here, especially today. GDXJ, same thing, exact same thing, closed higher than resistance. Very bullish. It's just it needs the metals and the markets to probably go higher, and I don't see that happening. But if it does happen, I welcome that and I'll sell into it. Support will be here, and if we do go lower, it'll probably hit the ascending line by then. That is all I will do. Crypto, not going to cover because I can cover that during the weekend too. Very nice bounce, not the nicest bounce. Basically all-time lows, not all-time lows, but recent lows, new lows, 15,000 ish. I go on the 1 hour, we can see maybe. Here we go. I did think that we would lose this ascending support and come back down to lows. If you remember, that's what we did. And then since then, I lost my internet and everything. We had a nice bounce. I mean, no one trusts the first bounce, but when it got to here and it started to break out here, 16,300, that was something that was to be respected. So it came up, dips get bought. Now we're here, right? Obvious resistance is 16,800. What happens if we take out 16,800? We'll move to 17,000, which is still resistance. And even if we take out 17,000, we go all the way up here. That is impressive. I won't lie. But we're still not taking back the sort of, the major support lines. Now, 17,500, should have thought about that, was the real support. But, it only hit there once. The more sort of recurring support, you could say, was 18,000, a bit more to the 200, let's say, where this line is here. You can see it bounced several times, 1, 2, 3, and then after we flushed, it came back. And it's not like real support was far below that. So for me, you could even draw two lines, but just to be really cute. But basically, this area needs to be reclaimed, closed above, and trade above that. So you can wait for you to be able to say, look, we may have got a bit of a low here. So although this is impressive, it's only a bounce off all-time lows, if I can say all-time lows for now. So, what if it starts to lose this little ascending move it's done here? If I just take the 15-minute zoom out, take my little, where is it? My old school trend line, and just say, okay, this sort of support we've got here, very, very rough support. If we lose this, let's just say by a bit, let's say we get to about 16,500, then I would say we've lost this strength. And then obviously we'll bounce a little bit, and then may even try and draw this, imagine, oh, okay, a lot of people think we're still strong, buy this, we're strong, we'll come back up, we'll fail to make a new high. And now it's, we've lost this sort of strength we've had. Is it going to go back lower? And yeah, we are. And then obviously it'll get a bit of strength, whatever, we'll see. It depends what the market is doing by then. This is several days later. But that's how you might lose it, And then when you start to zoom out, you think, yeah, it never took back the more important area, this area. It's got to come back here, close, and start trading above. So nice little bounce, but that's all it is so far. That's all I'll say. Right, I'll leave it there. Late for work. Yeah, hopefully that was useful. Sorry for being away. And let's see how much trading happens today. Actually, good luck, and watch out for Credit Suisse.